Today is the final day of this year's Atlantic hurricane season, and because of that, I'm going to do a summary of this hurricane season. Today it's going to be part 1, tomorrow I'll do a part 2 video, exclusively on TBF Cyclone. It's TBF Cyclone, Sunday, November 30th, 2025. This hurricane season has been an interesting one, to say the least. I'm going to go over what happened, starting in late June with Tropical Storm Andrea. It was the latest first-name storm since 2014, and that was the same thing with last year when Tropical Storm Alberta developed. It was also the latest first-name storm since 2014. However, it happened again this year in 2014. The first-name storm was on July 1st. But anyway, Andrea reached a peak intensity of 40 miles an hour and didn't even last a full day. So that was originally, before it developed, it was not supposed to develop. And then it did, and then the chances went up, then they went back down, then they went up, and then it did eventually end up developing. Tropical Storm Barry was an odd storm, to say the least. And, I mean, when you look at this on satellite imagery, it does not look like an organized storm at all. And I don't even know why the National Hurricane Center identified it as a storm, but they did. And what this storm actually did, indirectly, the mid-level moisture surged into Texas, and it indirectly caused the Texas flooding, which killed hundreds. It was very devastating. Especially at that one summer camp. I believe it was Camp Mystic. I may be wrong about that. But that was very tragic. However, I don't think the name Barry is going to get retired because that was indirect. If it's directly from the storm itself, then it would get retired, but I don't think it will. And then fast forward into August. In the middle of August, we saw our first Category 5 hurricane of the season. It was a little bit early for a Category 5 hurricane, in my opinion, but it wasn't early like Hurricane Beryl early. That was wild, but it was a Cat 5. I believe it was August 18th. This website does not want to cooperate with me today, so I think I'm just gonna have to talk about what happened. So Aaron was the first Category 5 hurricane of the season, and it had a really small eye. It was August 16th. I knew it was either August 16th or 18th. Its eye was tiny. It was, I mean, when you have a Category 5 hurricane, the eye is usually going to be quite small. But this eye was tiny. It wasn't as small as Hurricane Milton's from last year. That was about 5 miles wide. You can't get much smaller than that. Hurricane Wilma from 2005 was a little over 2 miles wide. And, I mean, that's not really physically possible. You can't physically if you get smaller than that, you're breaking the laws of physics. But yeah, Aaron had a small eye, and of course we saw that coordinated with the intensity, 160 miles an hour. Could have been stronger, but I think it might have actually been a little weaker. I don't know. That's just based on gut feeling. I have no evidence to support that whatsoever. Fast forward into September, we had Hurricane Gabrielle, if I can get to it. So it took a while to get organized at first, however it did eventually. And then once it got way up north, like near Bermuda, it rapidly intensified. You don't see that with storms this far north. It reached Category 4 status with 140 miles an hour. Let's see if we can get a good image with this. So yeah, its eye wasn't perfectly circular, but it was pretty close. And that was a rare system just because of how far north it was. So that's it for the part 1 summary of this year's hurricane season. I'll be back tomorrow for the part 2. Thanks for watching and see ya.